Hi, welcome to Nailing a Nutritionist Niche course. So glad to have you with me, and this is my first welcome lesson where we're going to talk about the course structure, why are you doing this, what you can expect from this course, all of that good stuff. Giving you a good perspective, tell you where I'm coming from, and you'll be able to gauge how well does this fit your particular needs. Okay, let's get started with some of the fun slides that I prepared for you. I am ready to boggle your mind and challenge some of your assumptions. As it always happens, you start somewhere. So let's begin, and I like stories. So let's begin with a story. This is an interesting story. This story starts with love for limousines and an $800 bill. So, do you remember how Uber got started? Interestingly, few people actually remember what were the origins of Uber. There were two people living in San Francisco, and one of them was a gentleman who liked taking rides in a limousine. I don't know, that's a personal preference. One time he racked up an $800 bill. That happened once and then another time, and soon enough, he was telling his friend about the fact that there has to be a better way of getting around if you want to be driven in a stretch limo. That was the impetus for Uber. This is how they got started. Uber got started in 2010. If you think about it, that's only 2010. By offering limousines that can be ordered through an app. And they could pick you up anywhere in San Francisco. In 2012 came UberX, and this is what we now know to be Uber. It's a small car, somebody comes up, picks you up, and takes you places. And we take it for granted, but if you think about it, back in 2012, to convince people to get into a car with a complete stranger, well, they had to educate. But then, after that came global expansion, came Uber XL, Uber Pool, Uber Eats, electric scooter rental, short-lived, I believe, or maybe it's still there, self-driving cars, grocery delivery, freight transportation. Amazing. Now that journey included scandal, endless court battles, ousting of the CEO, etc. But why am I telling you all this? Why? How does this belong in a Nailing a Nutritionist Niche course? Because I want you to think about the following. The company is called Uber, not limo services. And if they were focused just on the black limousines for hire, they would be competing on price with other limo companies. And instead, they focus their business on simplifying mobility. Let's transpose this onto yourselves as holistic nutritionists. If you're just a nutritionist, then essentially you're competing on price because, in essence, nutrition is a function. Very important, but nevertheless a function. But what if you were in the business of radically changing people's lives, for example, from frown to radiance? What if you were the solution to the discomfort a person has been feeling longer than they can remember themselves? Well, those can be achieved in more ways than just food. In fact, you have been trained in those ways. So let's pivot a bit. You are dealing with matters of lifestyle, fears, because it's terrifying to change, hopes, because your clients want to feel better finally, and dreams, because the clients, cannot really articulate what they need, but they can imagine what they want. This is your business. Your business is lifestyle. One note here, positioning and perspective should not be confused with what marketers call unique selling proposition and the niche. These are not the same thing. This is how you position yourself to the world. You're not just a nutritionist. You don't just focus on food. You focus on many things that are derived from food. You will not disagree if people eat properly, take care of themselves, not stress as much. Their whole lifestyle changes. So keep that in mind because I want you to think way broader. Now, have you heard this before? If you've been overwhelmed just thinking about starting your online practice, you're not alone. If you ever thought that nutritionists should focus on health and not digital platforms, you're probably right. If, and this is not on this page, but if you thought that clients should be seeking you out and you're finding that they're not, that is the truth. So would it sound attractive if you've known that your practice, if you set up your practice as a marketing hub, and that can generate 75% of your income with only 25% of the effort, would you stop worrying today? And I'm sure all of you have heard this before, which is why I want to say, you know what? Enough of the sales type talk. Enough of this webinar approach where I proclaim that this is wrong and then tell you that I'm the only one who holds the solution. Let's park this for now because I don't like that and I never respond positively myself. Maybe some of you do, but majority of the people that I've heard through feedback do not really respond to this well because they feel that they're being either taken advantage of, which is the extreme, or they know that they're being sold to. But there are two facts. There are two facts that you have to remember. Though secret formula pitches and some agencies would have you believe that without their help, you will never ever master your business, it is not true. Fact number one, running a business is hard. Anyone who tells you that you can start your business and turn it into a mega monster with millions coming in overnight, over a week, over a month, is not being truthful. It's just a fact. It's not, yes, of course, there are some runaway successes, but even they did not get to that point overnight. We hear about those successes only when they come out, but there have been many, many hours that people put in to get to that spot. And fact number two, you can do it. Categorically, you can do it. Each and every one of you. And this is what this course is going to be about because we are going to be doing two things. One, I will force you to look at yourself in the mirror and analyze and understand yourself. Analyze probably is a bit of a strong word, but self-reflect. And once you self-reflect, you all of a sudden will understand, oh, wow, I'm really good at this. I never thought about this aspect, but I'm not that strong here. This is, oh, that's a great opportunity. Oof, I should stay away from that. We map this out, and all of a sudden, you will know who your ideal client is because you will know how you can interact with people. And also, you will understand the traits and qualities that you need to build yourself up as a business owner. But the pandemic changed all of our plans and creating an amazing opportunity. Now, no one can argue that life changed dramatically for each and every one of us in 2020. So did the way we do business. And for nutritionists everywhere, it was first a massive shock. Lockdowns closed in-person access. Your messages were all being drowned out by the barrage of other news. However, let's take back now. A lot of time has passed now. Let's take a step back. This change made everyone adopt a new notion. What does it mean to meet somebody you're going to do business with? Online, all of a sudden, becomes the new normal. And for us, it means three huge, and I cannot stress this enough how big this is, opportunities. Number one, now, if previously your clients were based, your whole client base was determined by the geography where you operated, now it is only constrained by the language barrier and time zones. That's it. It's not as if you're now able to practice only in your neighborhood. No, you're an English speaker, you're a French speaker, Spanish speaker, it doesn't matter. Whoever speaks your language, you can help. Number two, if previously being the face-to-face was the norm, now telehealth is standard. We talked about that. and online shopping, think supplements, is almost the default. So everyone's buying everything online, and that presents an opportunity for an affiliate marketing stream. More on that in the course. Number 3, if previously off-work hours were primary times to see clients, so evenings, weekends, now it's much easier to have a session throughout the day. A lot of people can sneak away for half an hour or maybe an hour and just have a conversation, so you can practice way more frequently. Now, allow me to translate all of the stuff that I said into very, very plain language. You can help more people, and you can do it simpler, and you can earn way more. Here's the thing. Going 100% online means learning a whole new lingo, then getting into the weeds of new tools, and maybe starting to understand new technology, which you never had to do before. And this can be a massive setback for 2 reasons. Because you can say, well, hang on a second, this is not my goal, especially if you're just graduating. You're graduating to help people, to make their lives better, to impact as many lifestyles and convert them to a more positive trajectory as possible. You want to help people, not become an IT guru. And 2, some of you might be saying where to start. And I know this from experience because this is the conversations we had in our house is, what do I do? I know how to help people. I know how to write a protocol. I know how to guide a person with, this is my wife talking, by the way. She can take a person with candida from session 1 to 9 months down the road. We're perfectly candida free. But where to start with this online business? It's a big problem. And we are solving that. We are going to be solving the not my goal part in this course, and I'm focusing on the where to start in the bigger course. But before we get there, I have 7 myths for you. And these myths relate to all of the holistic practitioners that I talk to. And it's interesting to hear the same stories come out over and over again. So let's talk about this. Myth number 1, everyone knows the value of a nutritionist. No, that's not true. Let's look at this chart. Oh my gosh, I love charts. Take a look at this. So this is mood. This shows this is good mood, this is bad mood. And this is the journey of a nutritionist from when they were just thinking of getting into school, throughout school and graduation, and 2 years after graduation. And what happens, and tell me if you can relive this in your minds or in your memories, is you encountered some sort of a problem in your own life. Most of the time, that's the impetus to going back to school. And you went through all of the doctors and you were not able to solve it, and you felt like drugs cannot be the only answer, and you decided to fix it through nutrition for yourself. And you were so empowered by what you were able to achieve that you looked for more training, and you found a school, and you went to school. And then when you found the school, you felt supported, you found a solution, and you started exploring this wonderful topic of nutrition, holistic nutrition, and it was amazing. And by the time you were graduating, you felt that everyone will want to learn from what you now know. This is fabulous. This is the answer to so many problems. And then you graduate, and all of a sudden you start feeling annoyed and start saying that people are stupid. People don't really value preventative medicine. For some reason, they don't always flock to you in search of a solution. It's very difficult to explain to people what you do and why you do it, and they say, oh, hold on, you're not able to provide me a solution in the next 24 hours. Well, that's bad. I want a pill. Does this resonate? So this is the journey. This is the journey, and we need to make sure that we are aware of it, and we move away from the exuberance of this is amazing before you graduate, and we also move away from the annoyance of, oh man, I have so much to give and nobody wants it after you graduate. So what we want to do is we want to find ourselves here. We want to find ourselves happy, not exhilarated, because we understand the realities of how to talk to people, but in a very good position to set ourselves here and then have the trajectory to that exhilaration. That is more than possible. Okay? Myth number 2, clients will find you themselves. Oof, oh, this is a tough one. Okay, let's go back to this chart. But now, what this journey is, this is a journey of a client. Now, they start off concerned. What am I doing? Is this the right thing? Why should I care? Something's wrong with me, but maybe I just go to the doctor and they'll fix me. Then something fails, and then they find you. A client finds you, and they're skeptical about what you can do. And then you start working with them, and then they say, oh, wow, this is actually cool. Fantastic. Oh, my God, this works. And then a couple of more sessions go by. Maybe you recommend a diet change. Maybe you reduce the amount of allergens that they're intaking. Maybe a supplement. Everything starts to jive, and their head's in it. They're ready to go, and they feel cared for. And they say, wow, what a difference. Cannot wait to do more. And they're high-fiving you. They're really ready to give you testimonials. But then you reduce that initial burden that they had. But then they begin to feel annoyed because they're saying, the incremental change is really hard. Do I need to do this ongoing? Oh man, I thought this would be a one and done thing. So this is how clients feel. Now you can see that just saying that I am a holistic nutritionist really doesn't address any of these 4. This is why we're going to be spending time on niches after we spend time on you understanding yourself and the way you are going to operate. Because there is a solution for each one of these stages, and even stages beyond this chart, that you should be taking, I wanted to say taking advantage of, that's not the right way of putting it, is those are all of the times that your clients will need your support and help and be willing to pay for that. Now, do you have that offering right now? I don't know. Maybe you do. Maybe you've been practicing for 3 years and you're just looking for technical ways of flipping your practice and putting it all 100% online. Maybe you haven't thought about it this way. Maybe you haven't thought about tackling the different parts of the customer journey with your solutions. We'll spend time on that. What's myth number 3? One-on-one is a viable option to be profitable. No, it is not. And I want to make it very, very distinctive, clear, and I don't have any other ways. I am not saying that one-on-one should not be done. I am saying that when you're going to be doing one-on-one sessions after you complete this course, is you're going to be valuing them substantially higher than you are valuing them right now. And you will also, in the back of your mind, start thinking about other ways which can generate you income. I will encourage that you have at least 3 coming out. Okay, now why am I so adamant? Let's do some math, and I'll try to walk you through this as gently as possible. There are 365 days in a year. Out of them, there's 104 weekends, and depending on where you are geographically, about 11 holidays. Which means you only have 250 work days in a given year. We good? Great. Now let's move on to what that work day is made of. Imagine you're a hardcore workaholic and you have 11 hours a day to dedicate to work. So you start at 9 and you finish at 8 p.m., 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Grueling, but you are strong. You have to book in 4 hours of non-work. 5-minute pauses between sessions, bio breaks, prepping maybe lunch or snacks, actually eating lunch or snacks, just taking a step back, maybe doing a couple of breathing exercises. It all adds up, so 4 hours are gone. In totality, you can work 7 hours a day. 250 work days, 7 hours a day. That is 1,750 hours of working annually. If we say that an average rate of an hourly session is $100 per hour, can be lower, can be higher. Let's just call it, for rounding's sake, your max income in a year is $175,000. Not bad, right? Well, it's an attractive number with a very, very dark side. With a very, very dark side. Now, because in the assumptions that we made, this means that no vacations, there's little time with friends or family. Your clients have to magically appear, which is not the case. You know that. That 175,000 you need to pay for an administrator because look, 7 hours a day straight out of the 11 working hours, you're not doing any of that stuff yourself. Somebody has to do all of your admin stuff. You will need to be paying for social content marketing management. Now, you don't need it necessarily, but if you want it, if you want to do anything beyond just seeing clients, you will have to pay for it. You're essentially foregoing a life, your hobbies, and you burn out. You maintain that schedule. I swear to God, you will burn out. And you will also burn some of the relationships along the way. It is not something that you want. It is not something to strive for, despite even if you were to make 175,000. If you use the same math, do you know what it takes to make $1 million in a year? Well, to make $1 million in a year, according to that same calculation in terms of how many hours you have, well, $571 an hour should be your charge. Do not feel dissuaded, demoralized, because I'm here to tell you that not only is this possible, this is exactly what you should be striving for. This is exactly, without exaggeration, is something that you can truly achieve because you will figure out your niche, you will figure out your strength and why people would love you specifically, and then you'll create different ways of generating income, one tying into the next, that will work as a machine and work when you sleep. That is what my goal to teach in my bigger course. But before we get there, let's talk about myth number 4. Clients think in hour-long increments. No, they do not. So why do you keep pricing your services as an hour and a half introduction section, an hour follow-up, 30-minute follow-up? Why? This is not. By the way, this is not my realization, and you probably have heard about this before if you sat through any webinars of people who are teaching business to holistic nutritionists. The reason that this is true is I was telling you in the beginning that the purpose of this course is value. When you tell people that you're going to have an hour follow-up, you're not communicating value, you're communicating time. So that needs to change, and that needs to change right now, because as a client, think of that curve of that customer journey. When I'm in the very beginning, I might not even be able to formulate a question for you. I just know that something is not right. So do I need an hour of your time? Do I need an hour and a half of your time? 3 hours? To me, those are numbers which have no association with the problem I'm trying to solve. Myth number 5, all the niches are taken, and they are not. Because every day someone decides to change their life. Every day someone moves to a new country, city, and every day someone is typing a problem into Google looking for a solution. Which means every day someone has a chance to find you. And that is the truth. Certainly there are people practicing within your niche. Certainly there are experts with many, many years on you. Don't let that be dissuasion. Because when you understand yourself, when you understand your mindset and the traits of the entrepreneur in our module number 1, all of a sudden, you will immediately be in a position to create a niche. I wait for module number 1, you'll see why. Myth number 6, you should say yes to every opportunity. No, you should not. Because think about it this way. How many tasks are you working on right now? In business tasks. Maybe one, maybe you need to update a website, or you want to do a social post, and for the social post you need to create a beautiful image. You're going to use Canva. Maybe you need to talk to somebody about schedule, blah, 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 blah. You see what I'm talking about? Those are all of the things that require your attention, so you think. But if every hour of your work time should be worth $571 to make $1 million, does creating an Instagram post worth it? I don't think so. So if you focus your attention on something that you need to produce, then you will be able to get there faster. And that means saying no to a lot of things that come along the way. And myth number 7, online presence should be beautiful. I needed to get a cat into this presentation. I'm a big cat fan, and I used to have a tubby just like the one in the picture. I love them. So the thing is, vanity websites, the websites that look good, is not what you should be going for. Online presence, if it's on Instagram, if it's on social platform, or through a website, it needs to be functional and convert leads into clients that are going to rave about your services. If somebody is selling you a vanity website that's, oh my God, the design is fantastic, there's this, oh, sparkles, oh, it's great. Good design is always good design. But if you're not getting conversions out of that, if you're not moving people through your funnel of relationship, it is worthless. And what I am focused on in everything that I teach is something that's practical, that's going to drive your business, and that's going to solve your clients' problems. Because remember, there will come a point when you're going to have so many referrals that everything that I'm talking right now, you will not need this, because people will be knocking on your door, looking up your contact information and sending you messages saying, I want to be coached by you and only you. But to get there, you need to create a good base, which is why I love good design, but vanity is always trumped by functionality in my head. Okay, if I didn't lose you by now, you should either be saying, oh my God, this guy is full of it, or you agree. Well, what now? Glad that you asked. So the aha moment lies in realizing that you are in fact an entrepreneur. Maybe it's an unavoidable entrepreneurship, but to succeed, you need to start thinking and acting differently. I am now labeling you a holistic CEO. Recall where we started from, the story about Uber. It all depends on how you see yourself. I see you as successful business owners, holistic CEOs. And as a CEO, you will uncover other avenues of helping people that do not require your personal focus. And your personal focus is very expensive because of the knowledge that you can bring, and you need to operate from that mantra. So it may be a business of one for now, but where you will take it is completely up to you. So try this on for size. If you never contemplated the notion of being a business owner, of being your own CEO, it may be a lot to absorb. I get it. But one thing is for sure, your signature line should be something like, listen to this. I own a business that transforms lifestyles with a 2 teaspoons a day formula. Or, I'm a CEO. I'm a CEO of a startup that reduces executive stress levels in half within 30 days. Now tell me, come on, tell me, do those two lines not make you want to ask, what's a 2 teaspoons a day formula? Oh, it's like, hold on, you're reducing my stress level in 30 days? Everyone is stressed. We know that. Look, pandemic was not easy on people. Everyone's stressed. But you see how I haven't talked about the fact that you are a holistic nutritionist, and yet each one of you is trained to solve those two things. This is what I want you to do. Start thinking differently. Love your practice again and help as many people as possible. So with that, welcome again to this course, and I'll see you in module number 1.